Hi, welcome. This is Mige Kalim. I'm looking forward to answering your questions. So today's topic is on have you abandoned yourself? And I am going to show you the clip as this is program is sponsored by Laurel Ridge. So I am going to show you the services that they offer.
This stream is sponsored by Laurel Ridge Treatment Center. Laurel Ridge Behavioral Health Program offers compassionate care for every stage of life. It provides personalized treatment for all populations. Their interest is to help you into your journey to wellness. There are services for children, adolescents, adults, military dependents, active duty service members, veterans, and first responders. They offer inpatient services, outpatient services, substance abuse treatment, and residential treatment. Call 210-491-3591 for no-cost assessment. Laurel Ridge is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their mission is to save lives, heal families, and create hope.
All right. Okay.
This YouTube live stream is sponsored by Laurel Ridge Treatment Center.
All right.
Laurel Ridge.
All right. Thank you for watching that, and we are grateful to have Laurel Ridge sponsor this program. Again, my name is Mige Klim, and today's topic is have you abandoned yourself? So I see some folks logging in. So welcome. So let's hear. Hi, Brittany Jones. Good to see you. All right. Samantha. Hey, welcome. So I have a question from Brittany. How can you begin to how can you begin to notice the moments when you abandon ourselves? That's an awesome question. So when you notice the moments when you abandon yourself is when you find yourself numb and you find yourself caving in, you find yourself doing what is popular, what is suitable for other people, you find yourself deviating from your own thoughts and feelings. So these are some of the clues that says that you have, departed from your true self. In not abandoning yourself, recognize your feelings, be able to be in tune to it and stay true to it and learn to express it like, my thoughts are this, my feelings are this. While it may be different from you, this is how I see it. So when you present an alternate view rather than just go with what is popular and what sounds good and what goes with the flow, that's a sign of abandonment of your own ideas. Always tune in to see what is burping within your headspace because that is important. All right, I see Jake calling in from Utah. Hi, Tim. Thanks for logging in. So Kara goes, okay, happy Thursday. Welcome, Kara. All right, let's see if you have what other questions might you have. Thanks for the greetings. I appreciate it. So today's topic is have you abandoned yourself? So let's hear some questions. Or the other question, the other flip side is how do you remain true to yourself? Rather than abandoning yourself, how do you remain true to yourself? So you can ask questions related to the flip side of it as well. All right, glad you were aware of this broadcast, Jake. Okay, Brittany, I hope that answers your question. Okay, let's hear other questions. So another idea is, okay, why is it easier to show up for others than to show up for ourselves? This is a great question, Brittany. So it's easy to show up for other people because early on in our lives, we were told to do for others first before we do unto ourselves. We were told that every time we did something for ourselves, we were reprimanded for being selfish, for not being thoughtful. So after you hear these comments repeatedly for 10 years, 20 years, then you feel guilty when you embrace yourself, your thoughts, your ideas, your passion. So you have bought into this pack of lies that says that others first mean last. It's often important to put you first, to recognize your priorities, your feelings, your thoughts, because you want to build a version of yourself that you are congruent with rather than a fake version of yourself. So learn to give up the idea that every time you think about yourself is a selfish idea. It's important to rescript, have new narratives that is about embracing yourself, nurturing yourself, being compassionate to yourself, and being kind to yourself. Because we were seldom taught, we were seldom, given these messages when we were growing up. So learn to cherish who you are rather than betray who you are. Okay, Carolyn goes, what is a good way to self-check the abandonment? Okay, that's an awesome question. To self-check the abandonment. So again, the last week we brought up the concept of instead. So instead of giving up your feelings, acknowledge it, recognize it, sit with it. So don't always deny your feelings, go saying like, no, I really didn't feel that way. Recognize it, acknowledge it. When a negative feeling pops up, okay, go, what is burping? What does this remind me of? What is sitting in this space that I'm uncomfortable with? So don't betray that thought and turn it away. Always lean into it. That's how you can begin to be in tune to yourself rather than deny what is burping in your space. Lean into your interest. It may not be the mainstream ideas, but lean in. I'm interested in it. Learn to say it. Say it to people that that respects you rather than people that make light of it. Because when people make light of it, you go, oh well, that's not such a great idea, and then you stray away from it. Many times ideas show up in small bites, but when you lean into it and you recognize it and you give it time, you give it credit, that's how small ideas become big ideas. So don't betray yourself. Learn to always lean in to nurture that idea, because that's how small ideas are born. Okay. Okay, Jake says, my faith taught me to put the needs of others before others first before me. How is the best way to turn it from being selfish to being self-care? Thank you. That's an excellent question, Jake. Self-care is a concept that is not taught in childhood, in adolescent, in young adult. It's always care for others first, giving to others first. So learn to invest, learn to embrace. So, because also in the Bible, it talks about, you need to take care of yourself first. And it is very important that you start to rescript and learn these narratives that is about investing in yourself. Because when you invest in yourself, you're creating the best version. In being the best version of you, you can be present for other people and not just be a imitation of somebody else. Always find ways that you can align and be congruent to your thoughts, to your feelings, instead of using guilt and shame to power through life. Think about using courage. Think about using fulfillment, connection. Try to infuse these words into your conversation. It's easy to cave in, but it takes effort to lean in. And the effort, it will not take that long, but if you keep leaning in small ways, you will learn to lean in big ways. So lean in with people that you feel safe about. In stating your preferences, that is also being true to yourself. Stating your preferences about what you want to eat, stating your preferences about your color, stating your preferences about how you want to address this issue. All these are small steps that build to one big step. Okay, here's a question from Zach. I struggle with people pleasing to keep peace in relationship. How can I work towards avoiding this behavior? Again, this is a great question. Another way of keeping peace is think about you want to keep peace. What is a gift you want to give to yourself? Don't think about, always giving to other people. You want to replenish your plate. So the gift you want to give to yourself is the gift of a voice to speak up, a voice to say my thoughts are. You don't have to say, I disagree with you. Many times I teach people to say things like, my preference is, I prefer, my thoughts are. Another alternative way to look at this is, and this is what I really like. So state it in a positive way, then you are creating an environment where you feel safe. You want to address yourself rather than just brush aside your need. So learn to have conversations that complement rather than conversations that, bring in conflict. You want to share your ideas in a complementary way. So another way to give yourself the gift is, I like your idea. I also want to share this idea. So this can be practiced at the workplace as well. What you suggested is a good idea. So you give a pat on the back to the other person, but then you learn to say, this is how I see it. I also would like for us to try this idea. So then you are giving yourself the gift of a voice rather than mute your voice. Because if you start muting it, then it becomes a habit. Most people mute their voice and have done it for 20 years, because if you grew up in a home where your voice was not cherished, where your voice was brushed aside, or where you were told to just be quiet, to be seen and not heard, then you habitually do the same behavior. So learn to speak up, learn to have a place at the table, learn to people please, not just let people pleasing consume you. Learn to nurture the voice that you have, because you were given a voice, you were given a brain, you were given a mind. So learn to build upon those and make it real, make it a rich process. Okay, Leah, how did how do I get rid of the guilty feeling when I don't put others first? All these are awesome questions. So again, a lot of our guilt, a lot of the shame is very much rooted in childhood, because every time we stood up for ourselves, we were told that was a selfish behavior. You should never have done that. So we were shamed, we were guilted. So as an adult, we do have choices. We can choose to remain in guilt, or we can choose to select different emotions. So the self-talk is, I do have a place at the table. I do want to speak up for myself. I do want to connect to myself. I do want to find fulfillment in myself. So to do that, I want to use these feelings. Don't think about guilt and embrace guilt and use guilt to power through life. Think about a variety of different feelings. I want to use courage. I want to use bravery. I want to use connection. So with these core emotions, then you go, okay, when I use courage, I want to speak up in small ways first. I want to learn to ask for what I want. It could be with your parent, it could be with your partner, it could be with your roommate, it could be with your child. So learn to ask in small ways, but don't backpedal. So my preference is this, leave it alone. Don't go say, well, you don't have to, or you want to apologize for it. When you give it, you say it, and then you take it away, people go, okay, there's a lot of self-doubt. This person is not serious. So whenever you say something, just say it, deliver it, leave it alone. So the same thing when I have students who are doing counseling. When you ask a question, just ask it, leave it alone. Don't go touch it, apologize for it, explain it, because that dilutes and that diffuses the importance of that question. All right. Jake goes, I have anxious attachment issues, and it really shows up in the constraint marital relationship. Like, why haven't they texted me today? I must not be worthy of their love. That's an excellent question. So when you look into your own internals and you blame yourself, there's a lot of also self-abandonment. So learn to look outward. Many times when people don't respond, they don't text back, it could be that they are pondering, they are struggling with things that is their own issue. It's not always about you. It's not always about not wanting to respond to you. Many times people don't text back because they either forget or they have things they're burping with within themselves and they want to sort it out. So learn to put things on other people. Like I said last week, so don't always make it about you and what you have done wrong and the blame that you put upon yourself. So this is a lot of self-injury. Learn to put things out there. You know, sometimes when people have an eye roll when you say something, it could be that they had a thought that showed up and the thought caused them to roll their eyes because it reminded them of something different, something else. So when there's anxious attachment, understand the root of the attachment. When did this anxiousness start in your life? What was going on in the context of those situations? Did somebody leave? Did somebody say something? And then did you put the message together that I'm not good enough? So if you can look back into the roots of it, I'm about to sneeze here. If you can look back into the root of, excuse me, I'm sorry. If you look back into the, excuse me, if you look back into the root of your attachment, what was burping in your life at that point? So always lean in to understand. Don't just let these emotions overpower you, overwhelm you. Lean in to understand what was going on, what was the context. So go in to understand more about it. Many times children blame themselves. When parents divorce, they go, okay, I must be at fault. If I only did this better, if I only had better grades, if I only did my chores, they would still be together. Parents divorce because of various reasons. So it's important, if you're anxious, go in to understand it rather than subject yourself to injury after injury for years. Okay, Samantha. Okay, connecting to Leah's question, how do we as parents not feel guilty when we do things for ourselves, such as going out for dinner or movie without them, or just take time for myself for a nap and self-care? That's an excellent question. Many parents, I don't know, I guess we're trained to be guilty every time we do something for ourselves. So it's important to think about being there for yourself. Don't abandon yourself, but be there for yourself. You have time for your children. You teach them that, this is our time, and then this is my time, and this is the couple time. So learn to see it, teach them to look at it objectively and not subjectively through the lens of guilt. So go, we are spending time on Monday, Tuesday night, and then on Saturday, I'm going to do this. So learn to say it and learn to express it ahead of time. Because when you respect yourself, when you give yourself the gift of, um, different treats, emotional treats or physical things, learn to say it, learn to deliver it. Don't apologize for it. Because when you apologize, children will know how to use that guilt button, and then they'll guilt you some more. So learn to schedule time, just like you schedule time for your children, just like you schedule time to taxi them around. You also want to schedule time for you and make an announcement. At this time, this is my time. This is my time to do such and such. And respect that. Don't let them pound on your door and then you open it. So always take time for you and claim it consistently. Okay, Brittany says, in class, I remember you mentioned that fear is often the core emotion behind many of our actions. Could self-abandonment be rooted in fear? Fear of not being perfect, fear of not being accepted. Exactly. Yes, Brittany. Fear is rooted in a lot of things. And then we were trained to fear speaking up. We were trained to not speak up. We were trained to, comply. If you do this, this might happen. People might leave you. So all these threats, then we embellish it and then we build it. And then the next thing we know, we have a very faulty logic. So also when you have a need to be perfect, that is a self-abandoning concept. We are human. We don't have to be perfect. Humans make mistakes. Humans enjoy mistakes. Humans fail and learn from it. Because embracing the idea of perfectionism is a empty chasing. Learn to embrace you as a human, not embrace you as the desired product. So you're not a thing, you are a human. So learn to enjoy it, your humanness, and learn to celebrate it. So learn to find fulfillment in you and not be so invested in giving up your privilege, your pleasures, because you are an important factor. When you model self-care, healthy wellness concept, nurturing yourself, being compassionate with yourself, you're also teaching others to respect you. Many times, respect is taught, is not, is respect is in action form, not taught. When we respect ourselves, we act upon it, and then people will watch how you behave, how you keep consistently respecting yourself, and they too will respect you. And they won't consistently collide, they won't consistently break down your boundaries. So it's important to respect yourself, make it an action. And again, like I said last week, whenever you make a behavioral change, you want to do a small step. Do the same behavior every day for 2 weeks, for 1 week, for 1 week, for 2 weeks, for a month. Consistently learn to walk away from things that is going to um, suck up your energy, that's going to deplete you, that's going to, empty your well. Walk towards things that's going to nurture you, that's going to enrich you. So these are the things you want to think about. So, in self-abandonment, think about what you want to move towards, not what you want, not just about what you want to move away from. When you have an idea of what you want to move towards, the chances of it happening is going to be stronger. All right, our time is almost up. So let me see one more question or two more questions. All right, what did Samantha say? I got it. Thank you. So mommy guilt has definitely been something you've been struggling with. So instead of mommy guilt, think of mommy um, respect. Don't think of just settling with the negative thought. Think about what you want to challenge it with. What is the direction you want to go towards? So, like you want to stop smoking, but you want to start what? So, don't just focus on the stop, focus on the start. So, that is very important. So, yes, reframing it as a mommy respect, um, that you are teaching your children the gift of respect. When you respect yourself, you're teaching your children the gift of respect. When you cave in, you're also teaching others people to, break your boundaries. And then you want your children will mirror your behavior. So learn to celebrate you, learn to embrace you, and learn to respect you. All right, our time is almost up. Okay. let's I want to hear what are some key learnings. What is one key learning that you can take away and practice this week? I would love to hear your thoughts. Any particular key learnings? I like the one that Brittany says about mommy respect. Okay. All right. Okay. Using my honest voice. Yes, using my voice. Because you have a gift and the gift is as your voice. So use it, value it, cherish it. Okay, Samantha goes, state my interactions ahead of time. Yes, make an announcement. Don't timidly say, well, maybe. Say, this Saturday, this is happening. Make a positive announcement. Making small, manageable changes. Okay. Yes, be you. I'm going to turn my guilt into a self care, self nurturing. So think of when you have a new concept, think of self care, self nurturing, self compassion, self kindness. Then you have various things to play with. Thank you for joining the YouTube live show. Okay. So Kara says, show your self respect. Do your kids know how to, so that they know how to treat themselves well as well? Okay, Carolyn goes, show up for yourself in this is a sign of setting good boundaries. Thank you for sharing your lessons learned. So next week we're going to talk about energy vampires. That is a very pervasive issue. So effective ways to deal with energy vampires. So tune in and would love to have your questions and bring a friend. Share this with your friend. So I am going to turn on the video for our sponsor, Laurel Ridge, and I'm going to share that video with you.
Stage of life. It provides personalized treatment for all populations. Their interest is to help you into your journey to wellness. There are services for children, adolescents, adults, military dependents, active duty service members, veterans, and first responders. They offer inpatient services, outpatient services, substance abuse treatment, and residential treatment. Call 210-491-3591 for no-cost assessment. Laurel Ridge is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their mission is to save lives, heal families, and create hope.
Thank you so much for attending the session tonight. All right. I appreciate the comments, the lessons learned, the questions. Awesome. So look forward to seeing you next week when we look at effective ways to deal with energy vampires. Have a wonderful rest of the week.